Hey everybody, how you doing, Julie?
Hi, good, thank you.
So here we are with Julie Tran Deily. That's how I say it, right?
Yes,
Good.
yes, you got it.
Doing food photography and Adobe Express, or food photography plus Adobe Express. It can be a great event today. I see that people are already jumping in. So we have Heinrich Heigl from Germany. Good to see you here. He's part of the Adobe community as well.
Hi.
And so let me remind everybody to welcome. Let us know where you're watching from. You usually get quite the international group from these Facebook groups. So let's see. Barbara's here. Good to see her, Barbara. I think she uses Adobe Express, does a lot of promoting, marketing, runs a couple groups herself, I believe. So yes, everybody let us know where you're watching from. People are coming in.
Yay, hi everybody.
I might have to switch over to the brand image so I can get up and put my fan on.
Is it getting warm? Well, it's pretty warm here. I'm actually in Florida, y'all. So yes, we say y'all.
Yeah, you sound like you're in the South then.
Yes, kind of, sort of. I have my fan on though because it is pretty warm. My office gets pretty warm.
Michael from San Diego. And then I see we have a couple comments that just say Facebook user. So let me just remind you, if you're watching this from any Facebook group, please give StreamYard permission to show your name and profile pics so they'll be able to credit you when you comment or ask questions. That is the link underneath the live, StreamYard.com/Facebook. Give it a click, give permissions, jump on back. Thank you. And then real quick, I'm going to put up the graphic and plug in my fan because I'm wearing shorts and I don't want everyone to see me running around. 1 second.
It's real life. It's real life working from home.
Be able to hear my fans.
Hey Barb. Hey Island. Yeah, a couple of Facebook users definitely give permission to StreamYard.
And you can't hear my fan, right?
Nope.
So,
hi, nice. Facebook user.
Yeah, so once again, let me remind everyone, please give StreamYard permission to show your name and profile pic while you're on Facebook. So I'll be able to credit you when you comment or ask questions. That's the link, StreamYard.com/Facebook. You see it right underneath the live video. Please give permission. Especially if you're giving away like a Creative Cloud or something, you know, you'd want to have your name and profile pic up as well. So, and let me just do a quick shout out before we begin. Want an easy but professional way to do live streaming? I recommend StreamYard. I can give you I say $10 credit, but I think I can give you a 14-day free trial of StreamYard. If you wanted to contact me, I'll give you the link. But let me just do a little shout out to StreamYard with a little intro video. Thanks, StreamYard. Love StreamYard. It's great. Makes it so easy. You know, I tried to do OBS and I was like, then like I found out you had to connect Skype if you wanted to do these type of like interview or two people lives. I was like, no. So yeah, StreamYard makes it easy. Yeah.
I mean, I know we're talking about Adobe Express today, but I would love for you to do a whole StreamYard tutorial because you always make it look so easy. So
thanks.
All the bells and whistles. I need to learn from you, Andrew.
Great. We got Cindy here.
Hi, Cindy.
And Abdel. Yeah, and he's on Facebook, so he did the right thing, gave permissions. Barbara says she loves StreamYard. Yeah. Yeah, I need to figure out how I can record my screen sharing while I'm in StreamYard without like going into the infinite loop, so I can show like the different features of StreamYard. So maybe Barbara will help me with that.
Use your camera or your phone.
Yeah, right. I got the tripod. So
yeah.
Okay, so it's about 5 minutes in. People are coming in. So Julie, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Yeah. Can we start my slides? Is that okay?
Okay. Yeah, and I'll add your slides.
Thank you.
There we go.
All right. I'm just getting used to this here.
Great.
I guess my cursor's not working. Yeah, so I'm just going to quickly introduce myself. My name is Julie Tran Deily. I'm based in Central Florida in the U.S. I know we have a lot of outside of the U.S. viewers. Welcome. Hi. I am a food blogger and a food content creator. I was a software engineer for 10 years, actually, and I got laid off about 10 years ago. And I had my blog for a couple of years and was already making money, and decided to try to do content creation and food blogging full time. And so I've been doing it full time for about 10 years now. It's actually going to be 10 years in a few days.
Great.
I got, yeah, it's really exciting. And then whenever I say that, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I've been doing this full time this whole time. Yep. So I'm actually going to share with you some food photography tips today in my office. You see my office, my window's right here. I actually shoot my food photography right in here. My food blog is called The Little Kitchen if you want to check it out, and let's get into it. So I already did my quick intro. We're going to go right into the tips. Unless Andrew, if there's any questions, let me know along the way.
Sure.
Awesome. Thank you. So I quickly just want to share with you, every time I present about food photography, I think it's really important, whether you're an advanced or intermediate photographer or beginning photographer. Food is different from any other type of photography, obviously. And I always like to share when I started in 2009, the photo on the far left, I took it with a point and shoot camera with the flash on, and what my photography looks like today using natural lighting and using a DSLR camera.
Nice.
So I just want to show people, because you've got to start from somewhere. You've always got to start from somewhere. And you can also take stock all the time. Like, I probably should look at some of my photography from the last year and even compare it to 5 years ago. Because sometimes we get really hard on ourselves and we get really frustrated, whether you're doing a project or you're taking pictures. I don't know if you get frustrated, Andrew, but sometimes you just gotta really take stock and see how far you've come.
Nice. Yeah, it looks nice.
Thank you. Thank you. So my first tip are my favorite angles to shoot photography. So I know we're not really going to talk about equipment today, but we can. You can always DM me and talk about it. But I kind of wanted to hold my camera up and show you what I'm talking about when I'm talking about these angles. So just pretend that you right here are the food and I'm taking a picture of the food, right? So I actually like to shoot with a 50mm 1.2 lens. And my favorite angle is at a 45-degree angle. So I'm going to show you this way. So if you just hold the camera at a 45-degree angle. And if you think about it, when you're sitting at a plate of food, I wish I had a plate of food to show you. I actually have a bowl. When you're sitting, if you could see, you're looking at your food at a 45-degree angle. And actually, it's a very relatable angle to shoot at and to view food at, because this is how you actually view your food when you're eating. And this is not one of my tips, but I will share with you that my goal in food photography is to get someone to want to cook that dish or actually eat that dish, right? But to want to go to that restaurant and say, I want to order that food. And so that's why I really love the 45-degree angle, because it looks like it's right, you're about to grab the food. You can actually grab the food out of the picture. So that's why it's one of my favorites. 20 to 30-degree angle is just a little bit. So we did 45, and you kind of go a little bit downwards a little bit more. And you're going to be able to see actually 23 to 30. you're going to see a little bit more of the side of the bowl when you do the 23 to 30 degree angle. But if I have this gigantic bowl, I really don't care to see the side of it, right?
Sure.
But if I'm taking a picture of a sandwich, I might want to see more of the sides.
Good point.
So that's another, but when you're doing the 30-degree angle, you have to really care more about the background of your plate, what's going on in the background. And I always say, pay attention to your details, because you don't want to take a picture of some keys or another phone or something that just doesn't make sense. It doesn't help you tell the story of your food photo. And then the last two angles are overhead, and you're just taking an overhead. You're basically holding your camera like this. If you're using a phone to take a picture, now those are wide angle lenses on your camera phone usually. So sometimes you're just looking in the camera, and sometimes you're not holding it straight exactly. I'm trying to see if you can see me. You're kind of just adjusting and looking to see. I'm going to hold my phone and show you what I'm talking about. So if I'm holding my phone to take a picture, a lot of times I'm looking in the camera, and sometimes I might not be holding it perfectly straight, just so that I can get the angles right. And that's what I mean. And then the straight on 90-degree angle is if I were taking a picture, and I should have had a prop for y'all, like cupcakes or something. I'm taking it straight on like this. I'm holding my camera 90 degree. Can you see it okay?
Yeah, looks good.
And for food that's like stacked high, like a stack of pancakes, if you're stacking up muffins on top of each other, the 90-degree angle is perfect for that. And I'm going to show you some examples of that.
Great.
So the photo on the right I like to show, it's about a 90-degree angle, but it doesn't work for this photo, right? And I share this on purpose because you're going to find that sometimes there's some food, when you're taking pictures of food on a plate or in a bowl, that you can take all 4 angles and it works, but there's some angles that are not going to work. You can't really tell what this is. There's a lot of junk in the background. Currently remodeling my kitchen. My kitchen doesn't look like this anymore. But just to share with you the angles, and that sometimes it doesn't work for some food, right? I was
gonna say, it reminds me of this French kind of dessert that my father used to make called beignets.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Great. A lot of
I'm really glad. I love that. That's another part of one of my goals, is that when you look at the picture of the food, that you actually can tell what it is. And if you can't tell what it is, then you need to kind of go back to the drawing board.
Cool.
Actually, I should add that as one of my tips, right?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Because sometimes you're scrolling on social media and you're like, what is that? And you don't really want to confuse the person. You don't want them to have to burn too many brain cells, right? Figuring out what this is. So the photo on the left here is about a 30-degree angle. It kind of works, you know. If it was like a plate of pasta, I think a 30-degree angle would work a little bit better. And I'm going to show you a couple more photos. This is an overhead shot, and obviously styled 2 different ways. And obviously unedited, this is edited. So overhead shot for this, it actually works. Now, if I really wanted to share the height of this, say this was actually a donut and not a beignet, and I wanted to show how thick the donuts were, I'd stack them on top of each other, and then I'd do the 90-degree angle. So, but yeah, those are my favorite angles to shoot at, especially the 45-degree angle. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments.
Can I ask a quick question?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So one thing I was wondering, like in general, when you get into food photography, do you change like the dishes a lot? Do you change the dish that you represent things in, or the bowls that you represent things in? Or do you think it doesn't matter? Like if you had this, blue dish, would you use it for other things as well? Or do you think you should really mix it up and have different dishes for different kinds of food?
You definitely want to use different dishes for different kinds of food. Right. You wouldn't put soup on a plate, right? Like you want to use appropriate dinnerware, plateware for different foods. I know you weren't asking that, but I know sometimes we like find this beautiful plate and we want to put something on it and it really doesn't work and it doesn't really make sense. I actually have a picture of my food prop closet. I wish I could show you right now.
Sure.
But I can actually, if you want to pop on Instagram stories, or I can pop on in the, I don't know, can't leave photos in a YouTube comment, right? But I can pop it on Instagram stories today, later, so you can see my prop closet. It's kind of an addiction, and I've had to like tell myself, you can't buy any more food props. But I've got probably like more than 50 plates.
Nice.
I don't know how many bowls, all different colors.
So I guess that really pretty much
yeah
answers the question. If you have more than 50 plates, then yes, change them up. You know,
change them up. Well, also, I mean, you know, there's a whole industry of food styling, also, and prop styling, and choosing the right props and styling the food in a way that it is very appetizing, right? And I deliberately I knew I was going to use this marble background on my kitchen counter, and I used a plate that was not a white plate because I knew I was going to be putting powdered sugar on.
That's correct.
The beignets. So I was creating contrast. And I know with art and photography, you want to create contrast, you want visual interest, and you want really good composition, right? So you kind of do that with your props too. And then your plate is also a prop, and the napkin is too, but the napkin is actually a big cloth napkin. It's actually a kitchen towel, but I use it as a napkin, and I'm only showing a piece of it because it doesn't need to be, it's not a huge part of the story. The story is the beignets. So that's why you only see a piece of it, and it adds a little pop of color, and hopefully it's not overwhelming the eye, and really you're really just looking at the beignets.
Great. And we have a couple comments. Barbara says, I treat cooking as an event. Oftentimes the food props set the mood for scene as well as the meal.
I totally agree. Yeah.
And Island Sparta says, I have this addiction with duo boards. Maybe like 2 views, I guess he means.
Oh, do you mean like backgrounds, boards that have like a different background painted on one in each side? Because
let us know in the comments.
I also have that too. Yes, yes, and I agree with Barb. The colors that you use and the props that you use set the mood for the scene. So, you know, if you're doing like a fall dish, you can use like orange and brown colors. When I'm shooting a lot of brown food, which is really hard to photograph, tongue twisters. Brown foods are really hard to photograph. I'll add a bunch of color into it. But if it's a brown food that's like a comfort food, which makes me feel like winter and fall, then I'll bring those kind of colors into it. Nice. So you're not going to see me putting it on a white plate, which feels pretty much opposite of like fall or winter, right?
And Island Sparta says, yes, those are the ones.
Yay.
So the ones you were talking about. Yeah. Cool.
Yes, I have a whole collection of backgrounds too.
Nice.
And a lot of times, you know, you can play with it. You don't like, we talked about frustration earlier. Sometimes I will get frustrated. I will say when I'm photographing food, sometimes I'm actually cursing. I'm admitting it. You get a little frustrated. And if the first plate that you choose didn't work, put it on a new plate. If you don't like the napkin, I will change out backgrounds. And kind of like, you know, when you're scouting out a location, when you're taking photos, if you're doing portraits or something like that, I pull the board out, I put it down, I grab a couple plates, I put a napkin on, and I'm really, I've been doing it for a while now where I just grab some colors and I go, because I know what I'm photographing. I kind of know what it's going to be looking like. I'm also a recipe developer, so I develop recipes. So I've made the dish a few times, so I kind of know what it's going to look like and what colors are going to be there. And if you're doing a photo shoot, or if maybe you're photographing your lunch or your dinner, you're making it yourself, you'll kind of know what colors. And start out with white plates, though. I don't want to overwhelm you. Start out with white plates and white linens and neutral color linens, and then go from there.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice.
Thanks for those comments. And I feel like this one's going to be like, for some people, like, oh, she's going to talk about lighting. I know, natural light, you know. I actually forgot to put that bullet point in there, but natural light for me is key. I love natural light. I shoot up next to this really big window right here. And if you're at a restaurant and you're wanting to like take some restaurant photography, or even if you're just wanting to take pictures of your lunch and share on social media. This is why I love teaching food photography, because I feel like a lot of people like taking pictures of their food, right? I will often try to get a table near the window. And if they're not too busy, then I'll try to be nice and I'd say, hey, do you think we can sit over there instead? Is that okay? And really politely ask, just because natural light is my favorite. And the different types of lighting that you're gonna want to try out, and you can play with it. You can move your plate a little bit. So backlit is when the light is shining from behind the plate. I know it sounds like it's so common sense, right? And you're standing in front of the plate and the light is coming through the back of the plate or the bowl. And front lit is if it's the reverse. The light is coming from the front and also you're standing in front of it. I don't really like front lit as much. I actually don't really shoot. I don't think a very small percentage of my photography front lit, because to me, the photo usually looks pretty flat. So this photo is actually side lit because you can see where the shadows are. You can see where the shadows are coming from. The shadows are in the front. You know that it's backlit. The shadows are coming from the side. It's side lit. And I don't generally, like if you're going to do like artificial light, I really wouldn't try to do side light from both sides, because then you have a really flat photo. You do want shadows in your photo because it actually creates dimension. And hi.
That's Osvaldo.
Hi, Osvaldo. The high contrast shadows, it's actually it's trending right now in food photography that I haven't been able to like really glom onto, or like it's not really part of my style. But if you're looking on Instagram or on social media, you can see there's a lot of food photography where there's a lot of high contrast shadows. They're shooting right next to the window, probably at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon when the shadows are really, really deep and dark. And it does create a nice visual interest that I think it's appealing to look at. It's not really my photography style. And that's the other thing I wanted to mention is when you start shooting food photography or any kind of photography, as you practice and take more pictures, you're going to develop your own style. So whether you're going to maybe you'll like front light and I don't like front light, you know what I mean? It's going to be your preference. And then obviously paying attention. I always say pay attention to the 4 corners of your frame, whether you're looking at your phone or you're looking at the screen or through the viewfinder of your camera. And you're wanting to pay attention to everything that's in your shot, but also to the lighting. Because sometimes the seat that you're sitting in might be causing you to cast a shadow on your own food with your phone or your camera. And it's okay to just be like, hey, my husband's actually gotten used to when we go to a restaurant, he stands there and he waits. Which seat do you want, honey? And you could do the thing where you just put your hand or your phone over where the plate's going to be and kind of figure out where you want to sit. I mean, yes, I'm just saying I am a food photographer. So yeah, it does get down to that level. But so yeah, just pay attention to the lighting, pay attention to your background, being cognizant and just not just taking 200 pictures at the same angle or the same plate without moving it or moving yourself.
Great.
Awesome.
So does your husband get frustrated if you're taking a lot of photos when you're going out for dinner and he's like, can we eat now?
Okay, so that's actually a really good question. He's actually really used to it, but I'm actually by nature a really impatient person. And so in the beginning, I did take a long time to take pictures, but I actually get impatient with myself. So I really try to take pictures as quick as possible. I'm going to go back to the first tip here. You kind of know what you're ordering. And if you want to just take a picture and overhead of all the plates, if you're at a dim sum restaurant or you're at a tapas place and all the plates are coming out at once, just take that shot and sit down and eat it. It's a really good question because I'm very of the mind, especially when I'm on a trip with other bloggers or other content creators. I'm kind of tap at my fingers. Let's go. I want to eat. Because food is best enjoyed hot, right?
Right.
And the restaurant and the place that you're at, or if you're going to a family member's house, they want you to enjoy your food hot. And it sounds kind of like I'm like lecturing people, but really just take the picture and then put your phone down or your camera down and enjoy the food, because there's no point in taking the picture if you're not going to be able to enjoy the food at its best. So I will say he's gotten used to it, but also I've gotten used to it where I take it as fast as possible. Like just and if you just memorize the angles and maybe shoot 2 or 3 or 4 or all 4 of the angles, boom, 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 and done.
And we have a good question from Island Sparta. So he says, I'm just taking a screenshot. He says, can food photography work with someone in the frame rather than the food by itself, where the focus is the food and the person is not in focus?
Oh, definitely. Yes. So you're saying, okay, let me read it again. Yes. So
can it work with someone in the frame rather than just the food by itself at times?
yeah, so I feel like some of the most visually interesting overhead shots of like a whole table with a bunch of plates with hands grabbing at the food is very visually interesting. And then some of my favorite photos are of someone holding a platter, but you actually don't see the whole person. You kind of see their apron and you see their hands. You might see the flower on their hands or their rings or their watch or something like that. I still think if you're taking a food photo and the story is about the food, they should be the one it should be the focal point. And so really the person can be cut off. The person doesn't have to be in the whole thing. Or, I mean, we were talking about this the other day, and not to plug my TikTok account, but some of the beginning frames of the video that I've been doing, the food videos that I've been doing, is me just holding the whole plate. And yeah, I'm in it, but really I'm trying to show this whole plate of food. So yeah,
I am putting up the TikTok link.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I didn't mean to plug it, but yeah. Because
not
I
yet,
feel like
at least.
but, photos and video, like shooting, like filming video and photo and photographing food photos, there's a lot of like crossover. Like I use the same angles that I use in food photography for my food videos.
Great.
If that helps.
That's smart. Yeah. So here's a quick question, kind of funny question. Do you ever go to a restaurant or you set up a nice arrangement of food and you take a couple photos, and then the food entices you so much that you eat the food and you realize that there's an aspect of the food that you were supposed to take a photo of, and you already ate the food,
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Well, because I told you that I've been doing this for almost 13 years. It's very rare when I have any kind of food that I don't take pictures of it. I mean, obviously, if I'm just putting some cream cheese on some celery or like opening a bag of chips, I'm not taking a picture of it. But anytime I go out to eat, I'm taking a picture. But there was one time recently where I was going to dinner with a friend that I hadn't been able to go to dinner with for like over 4 months, and it was like a special occasion. And I kept saying to myself, I'm gonna take some video and I'm gonna take some pictures. And because I was in such the moment, I totally forgot, and I was so mad at myself. But really, for that moment, it wasn't about taking pictures of the food; it was taking pictures of the whole like occasion. But yeah, like if you are obsessed with food and taking pictures like I am, you'll get to the point where you will maybe annoy family and friends a little bit, but they get used to it. Sure. I will say when I first started, I started in 2009, right? I didn't really take pictures of my food that I had in restaurants and when I traveled until maybe like a couple of years in. And I will say, like, when I would take pictures of food at restaurants in 2011, 2012, 2013, even 14, even 15, I would get these stares. People would stare at me like, what is she doing? You know, I would go on like trips with other bloggers, and it would be 10 of us, and we're all taking pictures of our food. And to get that overhead shot, sometimes you have to stand up, and you're standing up and holding your phone over your table. Like, you know, photographers, we want to get the shot. So we're going to like move around, and some people will stand on their chair. I don't stand on my chair because I really try not to be I really try not to disrupt other patrons in a restaurant. I want to be cognizant and considerate. But yeah, like people would like, sometimes they would glare at us like, why are they taking pictures of their food? But now everyone's taking pictures of their food. If you go to restaurants, you're going to see half the people taking pictures of their plate really quick. Or, you know, and it's funny because a few years ago, I actually was at this open air, like food truck place or whatever. I'm at a loss for it, so I can't remember the name of the place. But they had these picnic tables, and I saw this grandma with her grandson, and she quickly took a picture of her food. And I was looking at her, and I was so excited because I like love seeing that, and I also love teaching food photography. And I was just watching her, and she caught my eye, and then she looked embarrassed, and I was like, I don't want you to be embarrassed, because if you love food or you love whatever you're taking a picture of, don't be embarrassed.
Sure.
Because I would just go, yeah, I know. I'm a weirdo. I'm taking pictures of my food. I would say that to myself because I'm like, all these people are staring at me right now, like in 2011 when no one was really doing that. But now everyone is.
Cool. So cropping, editing.
Yes. Tip number 3 is every food photo has to be edited. And I know I feel like I'm preaching to the choir here with other fellow photographers and digital artists, right? But I crop. So I'll say when I started, I didn't crop that many photos, but I probably crop about 75% of my photos now. I really, I mentioned before, try to pay attention to the details in the corners so that I don't have to crop. I feel like a broken record because I say this all the time. I'm actually the most laziest photo editor. Maybe I shouldn't admit this during your live stream, but I really want to try to edit as fast as possible. And so if I can take the photo with the corners and everything all good to go, you know, the plate not like completely in the center, whatever, have my rule of thirds. So I don't have to crop, but sometimes I have to crop out a little bit. And I'm usually just, and you know, I pared it down to like the 4, but there's a few other, and if you want to ask me a question about it, but these are the settings I usually, for the most part, are what I'm sticking to, is exposure, contrast, saturation, and vibrance. In Lightroom, there are something called whites and blacks, and then there are, you can actually correct your, what do you call it? Lens profile so that the edges of your photo is a little bit cleaner. And then you can also edit your photos in Adobe Express, which I'm going to show you.
Great. Should I switch over to the screen share view?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's do that.
So I'm going to switch over to the screen share view now. Excellent. So there we are.
Can you see me okay?
Adobe
If I move around a little bit too much, hopefully I'm still in frame.
So one thing real quick before we jump into Adobe Express is to remind people that you can get to Adobe Express at adobe.com/express or express.adobe.com. So a little ticker running at the bottom, adobe.com/express or express.adobe.com. Okay, looks good.
Yes, and there's also a free version and a premium version of Adobe Express. So if you want to try it out, you can also, I'm showing you this on my desktop, but you can also download the iOS and Android app and create these graphics and edit your photos also on your phone or your tablet too.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
Yeah. I wanted to share something really quick. This is the graphic that we made for this event. And I made it in Adobe Express. So I'm going to quickly show you what it looks like. Oh, I had it up like. So this is the graphic that, let's see. So I originally did it for the YouTube size, right? But I wanted to show you a couple of features really quick of Adobe Express before we go in and actually like edit a photo. This is actually, this is great. This is a library. You can upload your images and then organize them in libraries, which I really love because otherwise it's like an unorganized mess. And so I have this one. It's just called Julie because it's just photos of me because sometimes I have to put a photo of myself. But I wanted to share how I did this little photo. And it's really quick. I click on this photo, and over here on the right, when you click on the photo, the little settings pop up here, and I can click on this one, and it takes not even a second, and it removes my background. And so that's how I was able to, oh, and you can also edit the cutout. So if I like, oh, wait, I cut out, oh, oops, and then,
so you can work on the mask.
And I can restore. Yeah, exactly. And I can clear the cutout.
I have a quick question from Bob Stein. He says, do you use standard formats or odd sizes when publishing your photos online?
Oh, okay. So I need a more specific question, or can you add some specificity to your question there? So if I'm publishing on my blog, I do use certain dimensions. And if I'm publishing on YouTube or for my YouTube thumbnail, or if I'm doing a Pinterest graphic or Instagram stories, do you mean on like your website, or do you mean on social media platform?
Yeah, I think you kind of answered it, that like when it's for social media, you use the kind of template sizes for social media. But then I think for your website, you probably use whatever you're comfortable with or what looks best for your website.
Yeah, so I have a website. It's, or like technically when I started, we called it a blog. So I call it a blog or a website, and I use WordPress, and there is a certain dimension for the content width. And I'm sorry if I'm going too technical or getting in the weeds here, but basically the body of my blog, where you're looking at an article on my website, the text is a certain width, and I have a sidebar. And so I make my images to the full width. So for my website, I just had it redesigned. The designer made it 728 pixels wide. And that's just what we have. Like before, it was 650 pixels wide. So it really depends. I could show that later if you want. I don't want to distract from this, but like if that makes sense. And then if we go, I wanted to show you, like what I did was I just took the same project, and then I resized it. I actually I made a copy of it, and then I resized it. And all I did was, you can change it here, and you don't have to know the sizes. So if you're asking about social media, like the different sizes, you can choose Twitter, Snapchat story, LinkedIn blog post. Oh, I like that they have LinkedIn in here. And the Pinterest dimensions, Facebook. Nice. Yeah, so you can resize it, and obviously cheat it a little bit. This is a horizontal photo, and this is a vertical photo. So I uploaded another photo, but I wanted to keep the text, and I made an Instagram story, and I shared an Instagram story about this workshop.
All right. So that's a great feature of Adobe Express, is being able to simply go to the resize tab and choosing any social network template, and you don't even have to know the exact dimensions because it's already has it in the template.
Exactly. I don't remember any of the sizes anymore.
There's too many.
I don't need to.
Too many.
Yeah, and then they they change too. And I know this one says Facebook, but like there's also a Facebook group cover photo, event cover photo, all these different. There's all these other dimensions.
It's cool though, when you hover, it shows you the dimensions.
It does, and then you can also do a custom size just for those times where like, oh, you know, I need it for something else, and then obviously print sizes too. Oh yeah, here we go. The event cover photo, the page cover photo that I was talking about. I love that. I didn't even know that was in here.
Nice. Even the YouTube channel art. That's cool.
Oh, that is cool. Yeah. And then standard for iPhone. So if you wanted to make wallpaper for your phone, that's really cool. Nice. Okay, so let me, I wanted to share quickly, if anyone is getting into food photography and wanting to share on social media, I actually created some food and recipe templates. I can share the link with you, Andrew. I don't think I can share the link with you later, Andrew, if you want to share it.
Sure.
But yeah, this is an Instagram Reels cover, and then this is an Instagram story cover, and then this is a Facebook post, and then a Pinterest collage. So I created these in Adobe Express, and then you can just open them up and then upload your own image and then change the text, and then even change the fonts and sizes if you want. But I created some templates for myself, but I'm also sharing with others.
Great.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to start, and I'm going to create an Instagram story graphic. I'm going to show you. I actually already uploaded. Actually, let's go through templates here. There are so many different types of templates in Adobe Express. I haven't even scratched the surface. But because we're doing food and drink, I'm going to go into the food and drink category. And I'm just going to look. I haven't even looked in a while. There's some new ones that I haven't seen here. If you have any questions, let me know.
I know that Cindy had made a mention that the view is blurry, but it looks great for me. And I even checked on
is it
Facebook
blurry?
Mobile. No, I think it might be just her settings or something.
Okay.
And Cindy, you might need to just refresh the page and come back on. I believe you're on YouTube.
So I like this one, but we'll see. I'm not sure I'm going to cut it out. We'll see. Here's
it looks really nice. This looks beautiful to me.
Isn't it beautiful?
Yeah.
And the thing that's great is that all those, I was scrolling down the templates. You could see them here on the left. There's so many options. If someone has a food truck or a restaurant, or if you're trying to promote your own recipes, or, there's sky's the limit, right? Like, so many different templates.
And Island Sparta says, I'm going through Adobe Express on my phone, and wow, I never knew I could do all this great stuff. Yeah,
that's awesome.
A lot of excellent templates for you. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, totally. So many different templates. They also have these little quiz templates too that you can do. And you could share on your Instagram stories and then ask the people in your community to screenshot it and then answer those questions back and then share it and mention you so that you can see them.
Nice.
But this one you could fill in yourself, but then you can also do like stories or like this or that, stuff like that.
Cool.
So I'm going to pull up my photos, and I believe I put it under recipes. Let's see. Yep. So I'm going to see here. Okay, I'm going to ungroup it. So everything's grouped in here together, which is nice. I'm clicking on the image because I'm going to replace this image. So when I click on it, I told you this little toolbar changes over here. I'm going to click replace. And now I have to go over to my libraries again. And I'm going this buffalo chicken right here. Oh, it's got let's see.
Is
my internet
loading?
I think it's my internet whacking out here. Oh, it says saving. Here we go. Sometimes we get a little lag, and I might make my screen a little bit smaller here. And I have everything else quit. Let's see. Let's refresh this. I hope I don't have to find the template again. Okay, there we go.
There we go. And it auto saves as you go.
Oh yeah. And look what it did. It auto did the cutout, but I don't want to do the cutout, I don't think. Because unless I really wanted to, right? Like really, if I was like a fried chicken place or something, maybe, I could do that. But I want to promote my recipe, so I'm going to edit the cutout and I'm going to restore the background.
Simple. Yeah.
Yep. And then, nope, it did not. How do I, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to delete this and I'm going to go back and add my photo. And so sometimes you have to tweak a little bit because the template was made for that one photo, right?
Sure.
And this is what I really like. And this wasn't always in Adobe Express. It's pretty cool. The layers here. So if I click in the layers here, it'll show me where I'm at. If I click, and this is great because if you have elements on top of elements, it's sometimes really hard to be like, okay, this is actually on top. And I really want to get into that text. So let me just find where it's at. I don't want this background. And this is what I like about, I'm just going to change it to white background. And we're going to have a little, and then I'm going to delete this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm going to go back to the text. That's the thing, is that you don't have to feel like, I feel like the templates are great because they're a starting point some of the fonts are chosen for me and some of the layout is, but then I'm going to put my own picture and I'm going to put my own spin on it. And everyone works really different, right? But that's usually how I work. I don't want my stuff to look like everybody else's. Okay, so I'm just resizing my buffalo chicken. And I know some people are going to be like, that's not fried chicken because it's boneless. And I kind of agree.
It's as simple as just going to those corner points and pulling it out to resize.
Yeah. And we don't ever have problems with warping our picture, right? Because it's doing it by, it's proportionally. Yeah, it's proportional. So now I lost my text. I'm going to pull this layer down to the bottom here. And there we go. So I have my text back again. But now I'm very much a proponent of, I want the food to be front and center. And I want my text there. So this text is now kind of covering some of the stuff that I really care about. So I'm just going to move stuff around here. I'm going to ungroup because all this text is grouped together. And then, let's see. So once you click on this, you have to come over here to edit the text. And I just select it all, and I'm just going to take visit or the recipe. I don't know. I'm just kind of winging that. I usually say, you could say click here, tap here. And then when I put this on Instagram stories, I'll add like little GIFs to it too. But this text, ungroup it so I can edit you. Oh, look, it's got two different groupings here too. And honestly, I loved this template and I like the layout, but now I'm realizing that this cursive font doesn't really go with buffalo chicken. So I'm going to change the font. And what's really cool is, yeah, I can go here and select different fonts. And I'm going to tell you, like, what I really love about Adobe Express is you can see this is the little kitchen. I have my brand set up in Adobe Express. So all the logos that are actually, the fonts that are in my logo, I've already uploaded because I have rights to them. And then there's all the other fonts that Adobe, you have access to Adobe. And you can switch it out. And obviously, I should just change this to and I know that this is polarizing for some people because they don't think that they're chicken wings, but that's what I call them. Okay. And the other cool thing is there's something called font recommendations. So you can actually, Adobe Sensei actually recommends fonts for you. Kind of like that one. It's very modern. And then, I don't know how much you like about, like, I know you like manipulating text and stuff, right? So, where are you at? Here, there's this little spacing button, and I can make the letters further out, and sometimes that's visually interesting. But I can also check on this line spacing here. I like that. And here's the other thing that I want to mention is I actually really care about like how I lay out my text, even though I'm not a designer and I'm a food photographer. But to me, I always lay out the text the way I would say it or think it in my head. So if these all don't fit, and they could fit on one line, but I'm not sure that looks that to me, that doesn't look that exciting. So I'm gonna just do undo and bring it back to where it was. But it doesn't make sense for wings to be on its own. And this is obviously preference of however you want to do it. I'm just going to press enter. So it just says boneless chicken wings right there. And that's something that I actually like, I'm a stickler for. So it's totally up to you how you want to lay it out. And I'm going to try to see where I want to, I don't think it has to be right in the middle. I just don't want it to overwhelm here. And then I'm going to, I think I'm going to delete these. And then I'm going to change the color of this text to something.
And I wanted to let you know that Cindy says, I've never tried Adobe Express. This is awesome.
Oh, yay. I'm so excited that you like it. Oh, so while you were saying that, I'm going to hit undo here. When I selected this visit for the recipe, I just clicked on the color over here because the brown on the font there.
Color.
Yeah, and then I can click this little eyedropper tool, and I can also match anything that's in my photo and change the color of it too. So I kind of want a more red color. There we go. What do you think?
Cool. Yeah.
And then here's another thing that's really cool. I can go on like, you could stop me, but like if I'm pulling this around here, I can also, it will tell me where it's centered. Will also tell me where it's centered in the middle if you care about that. So I really like that.
So like
that
auto
feature.
align feature.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to make this a little bigger. I'm kind of like, where? I know what we're going to do.
And the one thing I wanted to point out that I
Mhm.
think is pretty cool too is
Mhm.
as Julie is designing, you can see here on the right that there's also font recommendations. So
Yep.
if you wanted like a quick kind of run through of your different options, you could just choose any of those that are showing up in the list. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the text needs a background, but I wanted to show you something that I don't use that often, but you can actually mask the text. It's pretty cool. Like you can do that. Which is a click of a button and not having to go through like a series of like
Mask text.
settings. And let's see. I'm gonna do, and I can change the shape. So this style right here is very much like TikTok and Instagram stories, right? But then you can actually create a whole box around it.
Nice.
And then I can also change the opacity of that box too. So I think that like kind of makes it stand out a little bit more.
Yeah.
Let's remove the opacity. Make it bigger. And then you can add stickers. You can do so much. I could even animate this text. Where is it? Oh, here we go. Animation. I had to click out of the text, animation on the right here. And I could do color shuffle. Ooh, that feels very neon lightish, doesn't it? I like the typewriter one. And then the bottom appears too. Yeah. And then there's also a pan, which I like. That's the photo animation, but then there's also like a fade or slide that you can do.
So if you choose animation for the text, when you hit the share button in the top right or download, it would save it as a GIF, correct?
It'll save it as an MP4 file. Yeah, and then you could, if you're doing this on your phone, save it to your camera roll, or you can save it on your computer and then send it to yourself or AirDrop it, is what I do on my iPhone. And then it would be a video file, and then you could just upload it to Instagram stories. But you can also do video on Pinterest too, so you could do the same thing.
Probably in the future they'll have the GIF option as well, so you can choose GIF or MP4.
Yeah, there's all these different fun things, and I could download it like you said, but I can also download it as a straight JPEG, so that it's a flat JPEG. It's not it's not the MP4 with the animation.
Yeah, that's good.
Does anyone have any questions about these features?
No, just the two comments where Island Sparta said, I never knew I could do all this great stuff, and Sydney saying, this is awesome. So.
Oh, cool. Thank you. I wanted to share this earlier with you, but if you select the photo, because this is actually an unedited photo out of my camera, there's this little button called enhancements, and you could turn it on, and it automatically just adds this contrast. And I can add a little bit of contrast here, and I don't know if I really need to brighten it that much. That red really pops from the buffalo. I don't think I need to add that much saturation. Now I do wish they had a little like, you can kind of like hover over it so that you can see the before and after. Because if you reset it, it goes away. But you can kind of see the difference there, right? So yeah, you can modify your photos just a little bit, and if you decide that it's a little bit too warm or if it's too cool, you can actually edit that also.
So
I think it's pretty cool.
Island Sparta says, I'm getting off of Illustrator and moving to Express.
Ah, don't tell the Illustrator team that. No.
Yeah, they have
I'm going to show you
a lot of different apps into Adobe Express.
Yes, yes, right. And then, you know, you can create your own templates for stuff and then just do a copy and then just start again. Like if you like this template, you know, upload some more photos and then just change the text and then download them. And then you've got like a bunch of different social media graphics. That's what I love.
And to save the template, you would go where?
So you could download and then you could pick your different formats here.
No, I mean, if you wanted to save it as a template to then be able to come back.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's a good question. Here we go. Is it the share button? Yeah, the share button over here, it's make a template.
Excellent.
You can actually, and then put it in a library and share it publicly either. You could either make it just for yourself or you can publicly share it like I did here. This is a public library full of templates.
Cool.
Yeah. I wanted to quickly share one more thing if we have time.
Sure. So
Adobe Express now lets you actually schedule on social media too. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Nice.
So I have my social media accounts, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook already linked up. So you have to connect those. And I heard that like LinkedIn and Pinterest are coming. I think one other one. Oh, I heard TikTok. And also that they're going to add analytics. That's what it says on here. Like if you click here, this little read our Instagram publishing guide. So there's some things you can actually direct publish to Instagram, but like stories or long videos, you have to make sure you have the phone app installed, and it will remind you. It'll send you a push notification to remind you to post it. But you can schedule your tweets and you can schedule your regular Instagram posts and your Facebook posts, which I really like. You can add your I wanted to show you really quick. If I come here, this little calendar button right here is where you would click. It would bring you right here, connect all your accounts, and then you can upload your media or obviously choose Adobe Express graphics that you've already created.
Great.
So I could take this one and select it, add my caption, and then put in the date and time and then hit schedule, which is really cool.
Nice. Yeah.
And then you would see a whole grid calendar format. You'll see it. I mean, it's grayed out right now because I have this pop-up open. But I think that's really exciting because you can create your graphics and schedule them all in one app. I mean, like, it's pretty cool.
It's very cool. Cool. So any other new questions? Let us know. Questions, comments? Like the little emoji I put there? It's got the monocle eye.
Oh, wait, I can't see it because I have the whole screen. Yeah. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I should go back. I'll go back to this view so I could show it to you. So,
okay.
Questions, comments? See the.
Let's see. Yay! I can see you now.
Yeah, it was great. So yeah, do let us know if there are any questions, comments. Everybody, here we go. Couple coming in. Let's see.
Are you going to show just us? Okay.
Christina says, Christina Harris, good to see you.
Yay.
Really enjoyed the live. Thank you. Excellent.
Thank you, Christina.
And then Island Sparta says, can Express do video with text as well? Yeah, you can create like, slideshows and import video and resize it as well. Yeah. And
not if you're talking about like 15-second videos or like 30-second videos for like TikTok and stuff. There is another app. It's Adobe Spark Video, because Adobe Express used to be called Adobe Spark. So there is another Adobe app called Adobe Spark Video, which I actually really love.
Right. And then Bob says, I find the number of apps available overwhelming sometimes. So yeah, that's a good solution is Adobe Express, because it incorporates different apps into one, tries to make it as easy as possible. Cool.
I agree. I get overwhelmed also, but like exactly what Andrew said. If you're trying to make like a poster for an event or even like a menu for like Thanksgiving dinner, you can make those graphics. You don't have to do graphics or like print files that are photographic intensive. I should have showed you some of the other templates that are just all text. And then you could print it directly from Adobe Express, or you can turn it into a JPEG and share it on Facebook or Instagram. So I feel like it's so versatile that way, and then you don't have to have all these other apps. But yeah, there's a lot of apps out there. What I really like is that this one's really, it's pretty simple to pick up. Like, yay.
Yep.
I'm so glad, Bob.
And Cindy says, thank you so much. I do real estate photography. I'll be playing with Express for that. Yeah.
Oh, yay. Awesome, Cindy.
And then Island Sparta has a good question. Can complete Illustrator files be imported into Express, or maybe the PNG?
Yeah, I import JPEG and PNGs.
But do you know if you can import like an Illustrator, I guess, native file that has like the layered elements? Do you know?
No, I don't think you can.
Right. So like the PNG flattened version. Mm-hmm. And then Bob says, I'm going to check it out. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Awesome, Bob. Are you going to take pictures of your food now too, Bob?
That's right. Bob's in the groups. Good to see him, Bob. So any other comments, questions? But it sounds like a lot of people really enjoyed it. So it's nice to see that.
Awesome.
Christina really enjoyed the live. Yeah.
Thank you, Christina.
Great. So yes, thank you so much, Julie. And let me give a shout out to you in the social universe. So once again, just to remind everyone, Adobe Express, you can find it at adobe.com/express or express.adobe.com. And you can find Julie at thelittlekitchen.net. Find Julie on Instagram, instagram.com, The Little Kitchen. And yes, the Little Kitchen, the E has been dropped off. That's part of the stylization.
It's on purpose.
Because you'll also see that on her TikTok. So on TikTok, tiktok.com/@thelittlekitchen. And I was going to say to remind everyone to subscribe to my Digital Art Drew channel on YouTube for more Adobe focused live streams and tutorials focused on Adobe Express, as well as Photoshop and Lightroom, Lightroom Classic, Lightroom Mobile. We got different presenters all the time. So do check that out. And a couple more comments. Cindy says, I totally will be taking food pics now.
That makes me happy.
And Bob says he's been doing this for a while, but only with Photoshop. So he's going to check out Adobe Express. Says, thanks, Cindy. And Island Sparta says, you all have been awesome. Thank you so much. Glad that you could attend, watch it. And let me remind everyone that, yes, I will be posting the recording to my various Facebook groups, my timeline, and of course, the recording is on YouTube. So feel free to watch it over and over again. Let all your friends know. Help build my watch hours on YouTube as well. So, but yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. So yeah, it'd be fun to watch again and again. So thank you so much, Julie. It was really great. And
thank you for having me.
Yeah, and we'll have another one where maybe we'll do one where it's like just desserts or something. So like one particular type of food, photography, and Adobe Express. So desserts or fried foods or.
That sounds good. And not so the Adobe Express team's not listening, but I actually edit a lot of my photos in Adobe Lightroom. So we could also talk about that. And I told you I'm a lazy photo editor. The recording. But yeah, but then I take it in Adobe Express and make my social media graphics. Because actually what Bob said, I used to do that. I would take it into Lightroom, and hopefully the Photoshop team's not listening, but Lightroom into Photoshop and add my text. But now I can just export it from Lightroom and then just put it into Adobe Express and make my graphics, add my text, and
Excellent.
to me, a lot simpler.
Nice. Yeah. Well, this has been great, and it's making me hungry for something tonight. So
Yay.
thank you so much. Really good stuff.
My job is done.
Yeah, that's right. And we'll have you back again. So thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Thank you.
And thanks everyone for attending. Have a great one.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.